So you've grown your YouTube channel, or you're just beginning, but you're already thinking about sponsorships. Who are they? Who's going to sponsor your channel? And how do we prove to them that you are worth sponsoring? Stick around to find out. So in the last episode, do go back and watch it. We looked at the main analytics of a YouTube channel to see, how you can judge whether you are being successful or not. So if you want to know things about, retention, watch time, views, subscribers, how it matters for different bits of content, do go back and watch that episode before coming here, because now we're going to talk about how we can use those numbers to inform our sponsorships and our deals and, how the money can get made. So just to recap that video briefly, there was a bunch of key statistics that we looked at. So views, subscribers, and watch times. Now, these are the numbers that we need to make seem really appealing to any potential sponsorship. So views are obviously going to be a bigger number. Okay, so you want to be combining views from both your main videos and your short form content as well. Obviously, say we did an episode of the Podcasters Podcast, we might be looking for a microphone sponsor or a screen sponsor or a stand sponsor, whatever, headphones, whatever. We do an episode a week and then followed by a bunch of shorts. And those shorts will naturally get more views than the main video itself because the shorts are in the algorithm and they're catchy and they're hooky and all of that kind of thing. So merge all of your viewership numbers together to get one large big number. Think about your other platforms as well. I'm going to go into more depth in other episodes about other platforms, but think about where else these shorts are going, where else your content is, and smush it all together into one massive number that looks great for your sponsors. Okay, that's what we want here. Then we want to look at subscribers. Now, remember, subscribers are your most valuable loyal fan, right? They're the ones that are watching every time, hopefully. They've subscribed, so they're seeing when new videos are appearing. And we need to be listening to them to kind of gauge what they want, because obviously what they want is what most people hopefully will want. And then we need to make content to cater to that and then get sponsorships based off of that. So if we were doing a beauty podcast and, we did beauty videos based on some kind of technique or something and we got some subscribers, you might want to look at sponsorships to do with maybe hair or makeup or whatever it might be. So use your subscribers as a base. Think about your audience demographics and things like that. This is what we're mainly going to go into today. Then think about your watch time. Watch time and retention is a really important analytic that you need to be aware of, especially if we're putting things in our video that contains sponsored content. So like call to actions or adverts or pop-ups or whatever it might be. So think about your retention. And again, if you don't know what retention is, go back to the old video. Retention is essentially how people are dropping off as they're watching your video. So you might want to consider, based on your retention, where you're putting these things. And that all ties into watch time as well. So pay attention to that. Through all of these analytics, these top level ones, you need to assess what kind of content is doing well. As I mentioned just now, you might be doing better on certain topics than on others, or certain formats of video than others. And obviously you should have experimented with different formats to see how you can boost these numbers to begin with. Is your podcast idea good enough? Is it an interesting format? Are you keeping people engaged throughout? All of these questions you should be asking yourself before we go to a sponsor. But if you've done it all and you're getting decent numbers, then you can really think about, okay, this is my niche. This is who could sponsor me. So again, with the Podcasters Podcast, what kind of equipment could I get to sponsor us? Is there a company that I might be interested in reaching out to? Can I become an affiliate of somebody and get a link down below and sell stuff like that? Obviously, the Podcasters Podcast is used as a funnel for our own event, which you might see as a call to action in the majority of our videos. So, we're kind of self-sufficient. We haven't necessarily thought about reaching out to sponsors yet, but we are kind of using it as part of our own funnel. So maybe instead of sponsoring or getting a sponsor, maybe you are making your own money yourself by selling one of your services. Maybe it's a membership or a one-on-one coaching or something like that, or an event, whatever it it might be. So think about it. Do you want sponsors, or do you want to sponsor yourself, essentially? But the same thing still applies. You need to be putting these things throughout these videos to attract the right kinds of people at the right time. So that's what we're going to go into right now. So you want to start a podcast, but you don't know how. First of all, like and subscribe and have a look around the channel. There's lots of useful videos to help you on your way to starting, scaling, and thriving in your podcast career. Also, did you know that we run a 3-day event over here in Peterborough called the Podcast Profit System? Come join us in a room of like-minded individuals, meet the progressive team, learn how we do things, and there's a free lunch thrown in as well. All right, let's get back to the video. So to go deeper into the analytics, okay, the next analytic that I want to look at is age and gender. Now, YouTube breaks this down for us really nicely. If you go onto analytics in YouTube Studio, it's on the audience page. Okay, so go onto there and it will break down things in terms of gender and then age. So it breaks it down into male and female. So the Podcaster's Podcast is majoritively male or audience, and Disruptive Media, our channel, is mainly male. So we might want to take that on board. You know, do we want to attract more females to our base? Do we want to get more female podcasters in there? How can we adapt our content to maybe do that? Do we get a female host in to replace me? Things like that, you never know. But that's something to consider. Is that what we expected? Is that what we want? Because then we need to base our sponsorships on that. So, you know, based on having a majority of a male audience, could we market like a male grooming product, or, you know, something like that, cars, or, you know, think the problem with marketing is you've got to think quite stereotypically. You know, you've got to kind of put these people in these boxes to then target them properly. So, you know, what kind of thing would we want based on a male audience? Again, maybe microphones, maybe like equipment, things like that might go down quite well. So consider it. Is it what you want? How can you change it if that isn't what you want? And then what kind of sponsors do you want based off of that? So again, in that tab, you've got your gender, and then below it, it's broken down by age. So YouTube breaks it down in terms of every like 10 years, which is really, really detailed. So you can see kind of the pocket that your audience is in terms of age. Are you making kind of child-friendly content? Are you telling stories and doing that kind of thing? Are you more of a mature like business podcast that's appealing to older people, like more mature, maybe 40s, 50s, 60s, that kind of thing? Or are you kind of targeting the teenage audience? So the Podcaster's Podcast is mainly hitting between age 20 to 40, I believe. So, you know, that's kind of what we expect for something like this. It's a bit more mature, a bit more business oriented, a bit more entrepreneurial, that kind of thing. But look at those statistics for yourself and think, you know, is that what I expect? Is that what I want? Do I need to change my content to kind of attract different audiences? And again, all of that will be down to your content, but then your titles, your thumbnails, your SEO, all of that. You are what you make it. So consider it. Do you need to change anything? And then obviously the age factor plays massively into your sponsorship deals. So when you're talking to a sponsor, tell them the age range that you're targeting and be confident about it. These are the people that you can engage. And obviously if you're talking to the right company, then they will be on board with it. So you don't want to be targeting, you know, children's toys or Pokemon cards or whatever to a more mature audience and vice versa, right? So think about, you know, what kind of sponsor you could get based on the ages that you are targeting. Another deeper factor in all of this is geodemographics. Where are these people coming from that are viewing your channel? So what we found is generally you get views from the country that you're based in. So we are a UK-based company, we're in Peterborough, and we get a lot of views from the UK. That's not surprising. Our next highest demographic is in America. So that's also good. We have some international clients that work with the company, but we also make content that, you know, is kind of evergreen for all of that. So do consider what demographics you could be in. You might not necessarily be targeting countries with your content, right? Unless you're speaking a specific language or making it, you know, country themed, you're not going to be hitting it kind of knowingly. So look at those statistics and think about how you might be able to target different audience members and get sponsorships based on that. Could you get an international company to sponsor you? Could you get someone from America to sponsor a company, to sponsor you in the UK, to then get that kind of cross-pollination? Think of it as an opportunity for them to target your audience. This is an opportunity. It's not a chore. So really treat these numbers with respect and, you know, give them confidence and show them in their best light so that you can attract people to sponsor your show. Okay, so you know these analytics now, but how do you pitch it to a sponsor? Now, this is the key thing, right? We need to make these numbers look as good as possible. So what we do for our clients at Disruptive Media is we create what's called a one sheet, which essentially is, imagine like an A4 piece of paper. Obviously, it's like a digital PDF with your branding on it, your colors on it, all of that stuff with these key figures on it. Now, this thing you can then send to people and be like, hey, I've got this show. It's got all of these figures and numbers and amazingness. These are the people that you can attract and we can collaborate on. Do you want to sponsor me, essentially? So what I encourage you all to do is go away and create this one sheet. You can use Canva if you want a free alternative where it's really designed, really colorful. Maybe it's got you on it. Maybe it's got your branding on it, your colors, again, all of that stuff. But I'd focus on these main metrics here and the ones I spoke about in the last episode as well. So views in total across all platforms, not just YouTube, but think about Instagram and TikTok and all of that stuff. How many people are you reaching out? A lot of people can go, oh, you know, my main weekly video only reached about 5 people. That's awful. No one's going to want to sponsor me. Yeah, 5 views on its own seems kind of bleak, but you've got to tie it in with the whole campaign of the video. So remember, full video is just one thing. You've then got the shorts that go out daily that get thousands of views, hopefully, maybe a couple of hundred, a couple of thousand, that all gets added together. If it then goes on TikTok and gets views over there and Instagram and views over there, add it all together, give yourself a big, nice number that reflects your reach on all platforms. Because it's most likely that these people are different people. You're not hitting the same people every time, especially with the algorithm working as well. So put that big number down there and boast about it. Then obviously you can include all of the data that I've spoken about just now. So you can break down your audience demographics, talk about the age, talk about the gender, really be super specific about who you are targeting. A sponsor will really appreciate that you are kind of aligning your target audience with theirs, and it will make it easier for them to sponsor you. If there's a number that doesn't feel quite right, so like subscribers at the beginning, obviously you can bundle them in maybe with followers on Instagram and TikTok and things like that. But if you don't have many subscribers, maybe you haven't even started yet, maybe you've got 0, leave it out. Don't talk about it. Just don't put it on there. Boost your really positive numbers, make them look big, maybe include your impressions if you want to. If you don't know what impressions are, go watch the last video. But that can be a really big number that shows, hey, I get exposure. Your brand could be exposed to so many people. This is what's good about my show. So really try and align yourself. So the mission for you is to go out into the world onto some sort of platform and create a one sheet to really boast about your show. It's a boasting game and you shouldn't feel, self-conscious about it because it's kind of dog eat dog, right? You've just got to do it, and don't feel too shy about getting yourself out there. But creating this one sheet that boasts about your best figures is a good way to make you feel good about your show. And then it's a great way to attract sponsors to you. I hope that's been useful. Do tune in to the next video where we talk about how to actually implement your sponsorships into your video. So how to pitch a deal to a sponsor based on what you can actually provide from videos. So for example, doing a call to action to actually call out the sponsor or implementing the product into your video itself. But we're going to talk about that in more detail in the next episode. So tune in over there. Do not forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.